Man. What's up, everybody? Oh, this feels so weird. It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time since I've done anything like this. So I've done a live stream anyway. What's up, guys? Welcome to live stream. Rocking the Las Vegas hat because this is technically a review, even though it's a live stream. But yeah, I guess for those of you in the future, I've got a bit of a I had to actually make my own Star Wars call for that intro. Well, intro. It was introduced in the video, but it wasn't actually going to introduce the video. So basically, as the title implies, I am going to be reviewing the entire new Star Wars trilogy. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on them. Episode 7. No, that's not 7. That's 2. 7, 8, and 9. Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi, and then Force Awakens. Not in that order. We're going to be doing it in chronological order, but I'm going to be reviewing all those 3 movies. And I'll be reading chat as well in case you want to like ask me anything, or if you guys want to share your thoughts on certain parts of the movies. But just please don't go like overzealous. Please don't send me any death threats if I say something that you don't like. Let's try to all be like calm adults here. Let's all be very respectable gentlemen, and let's actually share our thoughts in a nice, polite manner. But yeah, that's basically the video, and I've got sponsored water here to help me out to get through this video. Yeah, so hopefully you guys can stick around for that, because I think I wanted to do this for a while. But again, as of late, my YouTube channel is it's a little off the rocks lately. I still don't know if I'm going to be fully coming back to it or not. But at the very least, I really wanted to make a live stream like this, because I wanted to share my thoughts to you guys about the new Star Wars trilogy, and because I have a lot of thoughts on it, and I think about it, basically whatnot, and my review. But again, I'm not a critic, so just don't take everything I say at face value. Don't take serious offense to that. I'm not an expert in these things. So with that being said, let's get started with the reviews. First things first, let's go ahead and go with Force Awakens. Man, to think that this movie was all the way back in 2015. I remember distinctly the feeling that everyone had when that, because this was the same time as Jurassic World. A lot of things were coming back on 2015. A lot of franchises were getting revived. Well, for Jurassic Park, in my opinion, not for the best, but Star Wars especially, everyone was just going nuts for it. I remember it is like, oh my god, the trailers they looked very hype, and everyone was just getting excited to see a Star Wars movie again, because I think it had been like, I think a decade or maybe even more since the last Star Wars movie came out, which was Revenge of the Sith, of the awful prequels that we all know we hate. Although I do hear it's getting a little bit of a following, but I still think it's bad. At least in comparison to the new trilogy. But yeah, everyone was a huge Star Wars fan. Like I'm not like super involved with everything that is happening around it. Like I haven't seen Mandalorian, but I haven't watched any of the cartoons that well. I don't know the video games, and I don't know the comics, so I'm not like that deep into it. But I was still pretty hyped. It looked cool. It had lightsabers, that friggin' badass sound effect, and it had the blasters, it had stormtroopers, and it had the one and only Harrison Ford, Han Solo himself. So yeah, I was hyped for it, and as a whole, I actually, it was funny because before this, I actually rewatched Force Awakens 2 weeks ago because I'd previously watched Rise of Skywalker before then, and I was like, you know, I was like kind of disappointed. So I'm like, well, let me check out Force Awakens and see how it holds up and see if it still holds up anyway. And I watched it, and I still think it did. I still think it holds up fairly well. There are issues definitely with the film, but overall, as a whole, I'd say the movie works well in both balancing new ideas that Disney, obviously with them owning Star Wars, that wanted to do with it, and just putting the nostalgic stuff from the old movies in there. So, all right, now let's go through the movie piece by piece because I actually want to share my thoughts on everything about the movie. So, to start, it is story-wise pretty much a rehash of A New Hope, and that's what everyone said about the movie when it came out, and that's what everyone is still saying about the movie. And I'd be lying if I said that was wrong, because it is a rehash of A New Hope. It's the droid has plans to the bad guy base. The good guys have got to go and retrieve it to help the rebel base, because there's a giant ball of space station thingy, which is basically just the Death Star 3. I mean, they call it the Star Killer base, but let's be honest, it's Death Star 3. And it's going to destroy planets, and they need to stop because it's also about to destroy their own base. And there's a big space battle, and there's a lightsaber battle with a villain torn between good and evil, and this desert planet, I should say, protagonist coming in here who's gifted with the Force and is gonna be trained to become a Jedi. And yeah, it's a reach. It's a good reachers first. Again, I didn't plan for this. I'm doing this in no particular order, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on the general trilogy itself. So let's start with Poe Dameron. In this movie anyway, not given a lot of screen time. He's just basically the cocky pilot who can fly anything. He's like the best pilot in the Resistance. At least that's what we hear. And he's just like the cool guy, I'd like to say. And yeah, he's cool. He's pretty cool. And come Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, he definitely has, I guess, a little bit more character development, but I don't know. He seems, as a character, he definitely didn't change a lot from Force Awakens all the way to Rise of Skywalker, but he was still a cool enough character. I can see anybody liking him. It's fine. Rey, I did not like the way they did the whole in this movie, because again, she's going to be revealed to be the female Jedi hero. That part I don't mind. Like the first female Jedi, that's cool. That would be dope in movies. But what I don't like is how hastily rushed it feels like her progression to the becoming the Jedi is. It's like I'm in the middle of Kylo Ren. Yeah, I should probably say this whole video is spoilers. So if you complain to me in chat right now that I spoiled the Star Wars new trilogy for you, well, that's your loss, because you clicked on a video saying I review new Star Wars trilogy. So that's on you. Anyway, oh yeah, also Stranger Things, sure. What's up? I'm so excited for season 4. Anyway, back on subject, back on Star Wars. It's in the middle of the final battle between Kylo Ren and Finn, and then Finn gets absolutely wrecked by his honestly pretty cool new lightsaber. I don't care how wonky it looks; it's still cool. He's about to grab onto Luke's lightsaber with his Force powers, but then it does like a Matrix style whoosh right past him, and Rey catches it with the Force instead. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. Aside from the whole Force mind trick and at the interrogation room, and also the whole Force push at the end of the mind, I don't know. I feel like there should have been a lot more build up. It just it feels like, for me, it comes out of nowhere, sort of. And I'm not against the idea of Rey as a female just being this Jedi hero. That's awesome. That's awesome. But what I am against is rushed, reveals. Not that it's like a rush reveal, because it had build up, but I just don't think it had enough build up for that climactic moment. I will say though, Han Solo, which is obviously played by Harrison Ford, the one and only, is really, really good in this movie. I liked him a lot. And which is impressive because up to that point, with movies obviously like King of the Crystal Skull, he was not a very good actor at the time. He was kind of, I guess, trying to be like the tough guy that he used to be in his prime, but it comes across as really awkward and just doesn't work. But in that movie, he's Han Solo, and I really did feel that while watching the movie, and he was great. He did a great performance. He was in the role, and I know he really wanted Disney to kill off Han Solo at this point, but it is still good watching him be Han Solo. It's great. And also, speaking of old characters coming back, Princess Leia in this, for the brief time we see her, is good too. I like Han Solo and Leia's, how they're like split up. They're not exactly together yet. Cause I like that. I like when typical fairy tales, even though Star Wars is kind of it's a sci-fi fantasy. It's not really a fairy tale, but like, you know what I mean? Like fantasy stories, like they toy around with the idea that not everything's perfect. Not everything is like the happily ever after that it used to be. Like it's when reality comes into play, and that's what I like about this movie. It feels like there's a lot more realism to it, rather than just the somewhat corny nature of the original trilogy. I like how it can dive into a little bit more deeper themes with the Force Awakens and all that stuff. And speaking of dark side, for First Order, particularly with Captain Phasma, they're all right. I guess they serve their purpose in the story as the new Empire fairly well. But still, I am with everyone when they say Captain Phasma is a wasted character. I totally agree. She's pretty much Boba Fett at this point, an equally incompetent Boba Fett, except she's not nearly as cool looking as he was. It's like, I don't know. I wish, especially with Gwendolyn Christie playing her, I wish they would have given her more to do. It's like she literally contributes nothing. Captain Phasma is useless in the movies. She like pretty much has no dialogue, and all she does is just disables the shields for Finn because he orders her to, when he has the gun towards her head, like lower the shields. And then after that, in Last Jedi, she tries to execute him and it fails, and then she just dies. She just dies. There was literally no build up to the like rivalry at all, and there was no like dive into her as a character, and it sucks because it feels like she's just wasted. Captain Phasma doesn't need to exist. And the same thing with Finn. There's a lot of possibilities with Finn as a character. I like the way he was like introduced in Force Awakens. That's great. I like where that's going. Now expand upon that. And they never do. They never do. They don't expand upon it at all, and that's what sucks about him. And by the end of Rise of Skywalker, literally nothing changes about Finn. He just feels like he's there to be there because, well, I mean, we introduced him into the movies. I guess we've got to put him in here. That's just what it feels like, and it sucks. And the actor, he's really trying with Finn. He's like, he does his damnness, and I give him a lot of props, but just the character itself just sucks a lot. Or at least thanks to the movie story, he just fell flat. Kylo Ren. Let's move on to Kylo Ren, because obviously he's the big bad guy with that ridiculous mask, which honestly is just a ripoff of Darth Vader. And let's face it, you will never be strong as Darth Vader, in quotes of Rey from Force Awakens. As a villain, I think he works pretty well. The fact that he's like, manipulating by Snoke to be, and he's kind of torn between the light side and the dark side. He doesn't know what to do at that point, and I think he really works. However, towards Rise of Skywalker, when he does that whole good guy reveal, again, spoilers, but it's on the video, so when he does the whole good guy reveal, I like the Han Solo scene before that, though, when he's a ghost and he talks to him about the whole, like, I know what you did, and like, I'm dead now, but you can still make this right. I like that scene. It was really, really good. It was very well handled. But I don't know, his whole good guy reveal is just kind of, it just feels like a Darth Vader ripoff. That's the only way I can think. But I like Kylo Ren as the character, though. He's interesting. He's very good, and I wanted to learn more about him and his relationship with Snoke. But again, Last Jedi, he's dead. So now that we got most of the characters, I think all of them, but BB-8, just in short, BB-8, he's cute, nice droid, little ball, very much a soccer ball, and Chewbacca is great as always. With all the characters out of the way. Oh yeah, and also Snoke's another wasted character. With that out of the way, let's talk about Force Awakens. Um, the story again, rip off A New Hope, but the fact that Luke Skywalker has gone missing and they need to find him, that's an interesting story. I like where that's going because I think it takes place 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, so it makes sense why he would disappear and why so many things would happen, and he's not with the Resistance anymore. Although I got to admit, like, I know Luke Skywalker's gone, but did the Resistance really, like, without one Jedi Master, allow a completely new empire to just form right under their noses? You guys kind of suck at your job. You guys need to really protect the galaxy a lot better. But anyway, the story I think was great to introduce a new trilogy into everything, and it's a nice story to go off of for the trilogy as a whole. And again, the introduction of Finn is great. Like the characterization of him at the start is very good. Like the way, again, he's a defect stormtrooper, which it provides a lot of opportunities for him. Which again, we know how that worked out. Then basically Kylo Ren takes Poe Dameron as prisoner in an honestly pretty cool first opening sequence. He freezes the gun blast in midair. That part was cool. And I will say also, while we're on the subject of that scene and scenes like the village scene, the visuals in the movies look great. Maybe not Rise of Skywalker, because that was a lot of, I could barely make it out half the time. It was a lot of grays and darks. It kind of reminded me of Solo. If you've watched Solo, there's like a lot of dark coloring in that. It just kind of felt like with the Rise of Skywalker. But the first two, Last Jedi and Force Awakens, regardless of what you say, the visuals were great. It looks great. It feels like Star Wars. It's like you get to see the size and the scale of everything. There's a lot of new creatures, a lot of unique creatures with a lot of personality behind them, and there's a lot of like cool visual scenes with the lightsabers and the blasts and the ships flying around, and the sound effects are great. So I give it a props on that front. But now back to the story. So Rey runs into BB-8 because Poe like puts the plans into him and says, just run off and I'll come get you, which of course he's captive, so he doesn't. And BB-8 runs into Rey, and Rey tends to him for a little bit, which obviously has to happen because Rey's the chosen one and she wants to kickstart her destiny. And then Finn, after crashing his TIE fighter into the sand, he picks up Poe's jacket and he's presumed dead. But if you watch the trailers beforehand, you know he's alive. But still, Finn comes to the marketplace, which is I think like kind of a discount cantina, but not really. He walks in there, and as comedy ensues, he runs into Rey, and BB-8 thinks he kills Poe, but of course he didn't, because he tells him that Poe didn't make it. And it's kind of weird because I think Finn develops a crush over her by he pretending to be a resistance fighter and wanting her to run away with me and all that stuff. And it's fine, but I really wanted Finn and Poe to have a bromance. I don't know, did anyone else feel that way? I just feel like they were like so cool together. They were very cute together, I should say, which feels weird, but like that's how it was, at least for me. Anyway. And then obviously Stormtroopers come in for an awesome action sequence with the Millennium Falcon. Again, fan service and all that, which I'm not against, because again, at that time it was a decade before any Star Wars was released. And to please the fans, sorry, I had to stretch a little bit. To please the fans, they wanted some nostalgia. You can drink some water. Anyway, so they escape on the Millennium Falcon, and they run into this gigantic ship that kind of, I don't know if it's a tractor beam, but it feels like a tractor beam. Runs them into the ship, and they run into Han Solo and Chewie with the famous Chewie, we're home. That part was cool. I like that whole reveal of them because they're presumed bad guys and they hide under the floor, if you will, Telltale style. For you intellectuals, that's a great reference. And Han Solo comes in with Chewie being cool as ever, and they pull him out to the floorboards and they basically tell him we need to get the plans to. They need to get the map to Luke Skywalker, which a BB-8 holds, and so they got to get them to the Resistance base. And then the completely pointless subplot happens. Aside from because what's his face from the guy who's the leader of the red circle thingies, I don't really know his name, but that guy, aside from him telling the First Order we found the droid, come search for them, that scene feels completely pointless to me. And it's like you wouldn't have really missed much. Again, aside from that last part, which I just said, you wouldn't have really missed anything if that scene was cut out. And the action is pretty subpar. I mean, they're just these weird squid monsters that just come out of nowhere and just start eating everybody. And yeah, you wouldn't have really missed anything with that scene getting cut out of the movie. But after that completely pointless subplot with them, they fly off. And then we cut to Snoke and Kylo Ren. And Kylo Ren's having his whole talk with him saying, we're trying to find BB-8, but we can't. And then Snoke tells him, like, well, it's in possession of the Millennium Falcon, and your father had Solo. And that's the moment when we were just like, whoa. And I have to admit, I had that same reaction. I was kind of shocked that he was Han Solo's son. But also a little like, wait, didn't we do this already? Because again, New Hope rehashing with the whole Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. Although technically that was Empire Strikes Back. Either way, it's a rehashing of that. But I'm on board still. Like I would still be on board. Let's see what they do with this. So then after that, Kylo Ren sends not Kylo Ren, but Kylo Ren and General Hux are about to test out the Starkiller base to destroy planets. It's literally just like the Death Star, except it can blow up multiple planets at once. That's literally the only difference it has over everything else. So they're performing their test run, all while Han Solo has to do some business with Maz, I think her name is, which has another discount cantina. And she basically, Han Solo tells her about what Rey and Finn are doing there. And then Maz senses Finn's fear, and again, in another great characterization moment, he wants to run away. She tells him, well, if you want to go, there's these guys over there, those weird alien guys over there who will offer you some trips out of here to the, I think it was like a system of some sort, but I don't remember what. But yeah, they're offering trips to the system. If you want to leave, then like go ahead and do it. And he does. He actually does for a second. That part, I think, was great, again, for his character development, because you would expect that from a defect stormtrooper. Like, he just wants to run away from the First Order because he doesn't want to go there. He doesn't want to work for them anymore. But at the same time, he doesn't want to work for the Resistance because, I guess, obviously, for kind of the same reasons. But Finn, again, he runs away with them. He tries to run away with them, and then Rey follows. And Finn tells her, please come with me. We'll run away together. And then Rey's, no, we're not there yet, and I'm not super attached to you yet as you like. And so she disagrees, but Maz, actually, I don't think Maz leads her there. She goes to this underground thing and goes into this room and finds Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. And she has a very trippy dream sequence, which also shows the Knights of Ren. Another wasted plot point that was, just kind of thrown away in Rise of Skywalker. Like, those Knights of Ren, they looked really cool. I really was expecting them to play a bigger part in the story, and then they just don't. They're just wasted, and they're pretty much just like bodyguards in Rise of Skywalker, which sucks. But anyway, after that, she wakes up, and Maz runs into her and says, that lightsaber is calling to you. So obviously she's, like, gonna be the chosen one. Which, again, I guess is foreshadowing to the whole her as the Force, thing and being powerful with it. But again, it was a little rushed for me. It could have used a bit more for that. Excuse me, I got the burps. But anyway, she disagrees because she wants no part of this. Which, in her defense, yeah, like I would not want to be placed in a situation where I just have to immediately like go onto a lightsaber and just risk my life just swinging that thing around. Yeah, apparently that would be me swinging that around. But anyway, then after that, Rey runs into the woods all sappy wappy, and BB-8 follows, very cute. And then they see the First Order blowing up nearby planets, and they're on their little test run, and they're like, "Holy crap, it's happening again!" At least Han Solo probably thinking that. And then the First Order comes in, another action sequence with TIE fighters, and they land, and they're coming after them. And then Han Solo whips out the blaster, and so does Chewbacca with his bowcaster, and starts wrecking the place. And honestly, it leads to a joke that I think is really funny, because Chewbacca's bowcaster is like, it's like so like heavy and really like impactful. It has really impactful shots. And then Han Solo at one point, he's like, "Can I try that out?" And then he like lifts it, and then he blows up a bunch of stormtroopers. He's like, "I like this thing." I thought that part was really funny. That was cute. And so Finn eventually joins in the battle after realizing he has a freaking lightsaber in his hand, and he stabs one of the stormtroopers and then kind of throws him out. And then one of them's like, "Traitor!" And he whips out this really cool, like, I don't know how to describe it, like a lightning rod thing. It's kind of like a lightsaber, but it's like a mini like lightning rod thing. I don't know what it is, but anyway, the stormtrooper fights with him. But again, hear me out here. What if Captain Phasma went with the stormtroopers there, and then she fought Finn for the first time on that planet? Imagine how cool that would be. It would like build up their rivalry. It would build up the tension there, because the movie is trying to make you think that they have some sort of rivalry or tension between each other, Captain Phasma and Finn. When she's like, "Why have you removed your helmet? Report to my office immediately." And so it makes you think, okay, they have some history. They're going to be in a rivalry, and we're going to see this evolve. This is cool. But no, he just fights this random stormtrooper. I just think if he would have fought Captain Phasma right there, it would have been a cool introduction to the rivalry between the two. But anyway, after that fight happens, Chewbacca saves him with a blast, and Kylo Ren goes off to hunt for Rey. And then after he force freezes her, and the rebellion shows up. Well, not the rebellion, the resistance, whatever. It's the rebellion 2.0, we might as well call it. They fly in with X-wings, and they go pew, 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 doing all the cool laser stuff. They're doing all the cool action sequences, which eventually drives the stormtroopers out. And Kylo Ren hearing the news that they need more troops out there, Kylo Ren decides, "Nah, I'm going to take the girl." And so he does. Puts him to force sleep, and he carries her off into the ship, and they fly off. And Finn is like, "Oh no, she's gone." Again, because they want to establish that he loves her. And Han Solo meets up with Leia for the first time in years. And this part was great. I like it a lot. It's a very small moment, but I like that. I like all the nostalgia they put into it, because Han Solo, Leia stared at each other, and then C-3PO comes into him at one point, notices red arm that he has now for some reason. I don't know how, but I guess he looks cool with it. And then Chewbacca hugs Leia, and it's like, I don't know, it warms my heart. It warmed my heart to see all those old characters back together again. It was great. So then they head on back to the Resistance base to plan their attack, basically. And of course, we run into more nostalgia as BB-8 sees a deactivated R2D2. As soon as I saw it, I knew he's going to get activated at some point. But then they plan their attack in a typical Star Wars fashion, because in every big battle with with the Death Star or any space battle, they always have like a game plan to attack. So that's what happens here, and they're gonna do the same thing as before, basically, with the exhaust port and everything, but they just need to shut down the shields. And Leia's just like, "Okay, which one of you can shut down the shields?" And then Finn comes in, he's like, "Hey, and Finn also wants to save Rey in the process. And so they're about to fly off, and the whole Resistance squadron follows with him with on X-wings. I can't believe I forgot what they were called for a second. But then meanwhile, we cut to Kylo Ren and Rey in the interrogation room that Poe was in, and Kylo Ren unmasks himself to reveal that he's Adam Driver. No, I'm just kidding. But he's Adam Driver. But to reveal that he's Ben Solo is very handsome face, which leads me to the question, hidden persona for the dark side. But come on, just show your face. What's the matter with that? Just show your face. There's no reason to wear that mask, especially because you're pretty much unmasked the majority of the Last Jedi. But we'll get to that later. But anyway, so he tries to do the reading into his mind thing. I still don't really understand what that is with the Force, but I'm assuming he's reading her mind, trying to read her mind to get the info to the map, or where the map is, to Luke Skywalker. But then Rey fights him because she has the Force. Oh my goodness. I kind of already knew she was going to have the Force a little bit, just because I knew it's either going to be Rey or Finn. Either of those two, I was predicting was going to be the main new Jedi hero. And of course, it reveals to be her. And she fights him off, and Kylo Ren whines to Snoke like, "Oh, she's too strong. I can't do this." And then Snoke's like, "Well, bring her to me, gosh darn it." And then Rey has an Obi-Wan Kenobi moment where he's like, "These are not the droids you're looking for. You will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open." And of course, Stormtrooper obliges. And it's a pretty funny moment, but yeah, this is what happens. And so she escapes, and Kylo Ren has a little temper tantrum. Another funny moment with the Stormtroopers. They're walking by a corridor, and you could just see him cutting a muck in there, and they're just no. Oh, that's hilarious. Then we cut to Han Solo and Finn and Chewbacca, and they're talking about we're gonna make our landing approach at light speed, which completely goes kind of awry. At least they don't die, but he wrecks his ship pretty bad. So they land very roughly. Sorry. Oh god, I stretch. Okay. Anyway, so they land, and Han Solo's like, "All right, so do you know how to shut down the shields?" And then he's like, "Well, I mean, I don't really know how to." And Han Solo's like, "Wait, what? Where were you when you worked here?" And like, sanitation. It's like, sanitation? The galaxy counting on us. And of course, we get the memorable meme line of, "That's not how the Force works." It's a funny moment, but again, it was quoted everywhere for a while. I think it's even I want to say it's on a t-shirt too. So that's how you know that line is great. Then after that, they're gonna go in and they're gonna break into Starkiller Base to free Rey and also to find anybody in the Starkiller Base that could shut down the shields for them. And Kylo Ren is still searching for her, I can sense her with the Force, she's near. Which begs the question, why couldn't you use that earlier? If you can sense her now, why couldn't you sense her back then? But I digress. So, she's sneaking around. She's but then she's like, "This ain't over yet. This is gonna be romance." But if you're going for that road, after that, they Han Solo has a plan to blow up the I don't even know what it is, to blow up a part of the Starkiller Base. I honestly can't remember. It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks. But then, of course, we get the infamous Kylo Ren walks onto the lawn balcony, and Han Solo follows him to have their whole father-son moment. And honestly, the scene is done really well, even though Han Solo dies, which at the time I was sad, but again, I'm not really a huge Star Wars fan, so it didn't really impact me enough. Not like Iron Man dying in Endgame. When I tell you I was a hot mess and with tears at that moment, I'm not gonna lie. I was. I'm not even lying. But that moment is handled really well. It shows it shows Han Solo's real love for him. And Ben Solo is really, again, I really do think he's torn apart. I don't think he was just saying that to toy with him, but I do think he had every intention of killing him to make Snoke proud. Which sucks that you manipulate your father like that. Kind of a douche moment, don't you think, Kylo? But anyway, so then, of course, Kylo stabs him, and then he falls way, way down off the balcony. And Chewbacca shoots him in rage and detonates the thing, and it blows up the thing. And Rey and Finn go out, and they're gonna escape on the Millennium Falcon. While, of course, the Resistance fighters and the X-wings are having their fight sequence to get over the Starkiller base. Kylo Ren follows them for the obvious lightsaber battle. Now, I want to talk about this, the lightsaber battle, because the way it's choreographed, in my opinion, is sloppy. I don't really like the lightsaber battle that much. Don't get me wrong, it's fine. The lightsabers look cool, and it's definitely they look better. And I like the way they actually cast light the way lightsabers are supposed to. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like a lightsaber battle. Like when I think lightsaber battle, I want like fluent movements. I like more like whoosh, 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 whoosh. I like more like almost like sword fighting, but it's just with like energy swords. That's what I like to think of a lightsaber battle as. But with this movie, it kind of feels like they're just like really heavy baseball bats, like they're swinging around like that. And I don't know, it doesn't feel right for me. It doesn't feel like a good way to shoot a lightsaber battle. So I just wish I wish they could have done that better. But other than that, it's fine. So Finn, again, as I said earlier, Finn takes a shot, he fails, then Rey force grabs the lightsaber and they go at it. And then at one point, I think they have her like in this whole, they have like the lightsaber pull stance. And Kylo Ren's like, you need a teacher. I can show you the ways of the Force. And then Rey pushes him back, supposedly. I think that's why she closes her eyes anyway, like that. And pushes her back with the Force. And I think she like slices his face at one point, which is why he has that big old stitch mark. I was kind of confused about that the Last Jedi, though. I was like, why does he have that scar? And then I rewatched it. I'm like, oh, that's why. I completely forgot about that moment when I saw Last Jedi. And so then the Starkiller base blows up, and it crashes completely into the planet that Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting on. And then Rey and Kylo split up because the ground because a whole earthquake effect, it splits apart. So Rey grabs Finn's body, I think, and then takes it onto the ship with Chewbacca on the Millennium Falcon, and they fly off to leave Kylo there to not die because he's in the sequel, but to just be there, I guess. And then they get reunited with the Resistance, which is great. And then Leia sends Rey to go find Luke Skywalker because they had the piece of the map. And they activated R2-D2 to get the other piece because R2-D2 had one piece of the map and then BB-8 had the other. Again, I knew R2-D2 was going to get activated, but I actually didn't know he was going to have the last piece of the map. Not think that at all. Let me go back to the part with Leia and Rey. In my opinion, I think Leia honestly should have gone, not Rey. Because the reason why? Because Leia actually knows Luke. Luke probably misses her. So I think it would make more sense for Leia to go because 1, she already knows him. 2, they're related. 3, he probably misses her. And 4, they another reunion. Get themselves reunited. I know he ended up doing it in Last Jedi, but come on, Leia. See your brother. But nonetheless, she sends Rey off to do it for her, and she ends up on the planet where he's at. And it ends with her holding the lightsaber up to him. And then, cut to credits. Cue the John Williams score there, movie over. So overall, I would probably give Force Awakens an Xbox 360, probably. An Xbox 360 out of 5. An Xbox 360. Because it's decent. It's a decent movie. There's a few things that I would have liked a lot better. Actually, no. Xbox 360. No, I'll push it up to a PS4. like a 4 out of 5 PS4, because it is great. I think it is good. It's a nice way to introduce fans to Star Wars. Again, it is a rehash of A New Hope, because but I think that's the point. They needed to prove at the time that they could do Star Wars correct. Like, George Lucas is out of the picture. This is not the prequel era of Star Wars. We're done with that. We can do Star Wars fresh. And I think it succeeds at that for the most part. There are a few wasted elements that I think could have been better. And again, the whole Rey reveal is a bit rushed, but overall, great. And next, we go on to The Last Jedi, the very infamously hated movie among fans. So I hope we've all moved past that hate, because honestly, I'm one of those critics and people who have a soft spot for it. Not to say it's perfect, because there are problems with the film, but overall, I still liked it fine. I thought it was a good enough sequel to Force Awakens, and like, despite what he said at the time, and I still do stand by that. So, Last Jedi, there is a I think it opens with Starkiller. I think it opens up with the Resistance running away from the First Order in this very slow chase. And right from the get-go, that's my problem with the movie. That's one problem with the movie. It is slow. Everything in space is it just feels boring. Aside from the beginning part, which was really cool, when they have to like blow up the Star Destroyer, everything else is boring in space, because they're literally just they're just like slowly speeding around, and like the First Order is slowly going towards them. It's like, why are we supposed to be why are we supposed to get any sort of suspense out of this? It's just so boring. It's so slow moving. It's just, it feels empty in that moment. So that's that. I don't like that much. But anyway, so Poe, again, as I said, leads a group of, I don't even know what they're called. They're like weird. There's like ships with like with like a pole under it, and like the thing opens to like hatch a million bombs underneath it. It's cool, but I just don't know what the heck it is. Again, I'm not a huge Star Wars nerd, so I wouldn't know. So feel free to correct me on what it is in the comments. But anyway, so then Poe leads them away, and then Leia just gives them a typical mom slap. Like, you can't go around blowing things up, mister. If you do, I'm going to have to remove your life. No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't say that, but it's pretty much what she is trying to say. And again, Poe's having an attitude because he's the whole cool guy who thinks he's on top of it all. And then we cut to Rey and Luke. And Luke throws the lightsaber behind him. And when I saw this in the theater, I was shocked. And like, wait, what? Like everybody probably was when that happened. I'm like, okay, they're going for this route. They're going for the I don't want to go back route. That's what they're going for. I was like thinking in my head. And then I'm a Star Wars fan, and I freaking hate them. They're just cute little marshmallow frickers that are just to sell merch for them. And it is very distracting. They literally have no stake in the plot whatsoever. They're just there to be cute for the sake of merch. And it's distracting. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Anyway, so Rey is trying to convince him to come back, but he's like, leave me alone. And then Chewbacca, I think at one point, busts through the door, and he just roars at him. He's like, come back, gosh damn it. Fans service. Come back. The fans want you back, so come back. I don't care if you're old. Just get your butt over here. Do some cool lightsaber fighting. But, and Luke still refuses. He still refuses. And we'll find out, I can't speak. We find out more about why he doesn't want to go back later, but for now, we know that he just doesn't want to go back there to fight them off. And then back with the First Order, they track him down again, apparently, for some reason, and then they jump to light speed. Or is it hyperspace? No, they'd go to light speed, but the hyperspace, yeah. And they track him down, and Leia's like, oh shoot, they found us. And they're gonna go, I think they're gonna go like fight them off with the X-Wings, but then they blow up the whole thing, so it's kind of and then we meet Finn. Right, we meet Finn. and he's like recovering still from that lightsaber wound. I'm glad he was alive because I liked him fine in Force Awakens, and I just like don't tell me they're just gonna kill him off like that. That character is just gone. No, they kept him alive for that. Not for good purposes though. So he runs into Rose, and Rose is like, "Oh, you're such a good hero. I like that. You're great." And then Finn is about to escape because he wants to find Rey. But then Rose sees that he's trying to leave, and he's like, "Traitor!" And then shocks him with the weird taser thingy. And then they go on their side plot to find a hacker because they want to like stop the big ship from getting to them. And that's another problem with the movie. As literally everybody has said, I hate the side plot. It is so boring. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to turn on a light. There we go. That's better. Need to turn on a light so I can see better. I hate the side plot as much as everybody else. Star Wars fan or not, the side plot sucks. Mostly because nothing exciting happens. And it all pretty much amounts to nothing. So it just feels like wasted time. Chapter 2 is a middle part at this point. It's just completely pointless stuff that is not really that entertaining, honestly. And it doesn't feel very Star Wars-y because they go to this boring casino and with these weird space horses, which is like, why? And I'm just sitting there like, why are we doing this? Why is this happening? And then they meet DJ, who's like some discount Lando Calrissian, but without any of the charm. He's like, hey, I'm going to help you out. You want a hacker? Look, I'm here. I wouldn't betray you. I'm just a criminal in jail. You know, that sort of thing. And they're like, okay, fine. And so they escape the casino for illegal parking and whatnot. And then back with Rey and Luke, the actual good part of the movie, in my opinion, because he was trying to like a Jedi temple to train a new what am I trying to say? Generation of Jedi. But then Kylo Ren turned on him because I think he was like flirting with the dark side a little bit. And then he killed all of. I don't think he killed all of them. I think it's implied that he ran away with a handful of them, and then he killed the rest of them. And then Luke is just like getting all beat down that he failed, and he's like he was not a legend at all. And I like that. I like it. Again, it's like the whole Han Solo and Leia thing with Force Awakens. It's like taking the good fantasy ending that we're used to and flipping it on its head. It's when reality sets in. It's when bad stuff happens. It's like, how do they get over that? How does fantasy cross over with tragic events like this? And I like that a lot. It's great. Then Luke eventually gives in to training Rey because R2-D2 shows Luke old footage of Leia. By the way, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. And then Luke says, all right, I'll train you. Whatevs. I'll give you 3 lessons. And then we cut back to the Resistance and the First Order. They're still running away from him. And then Holdo, that's a really stupid name in my opinion. It still is. Played by Laura Dern, which is the Jurassic Park lady. That's all I know her from. But she takes over, and Poe doesn't trust her because she's not telling him anything. I mean, she knows a plan, but she doesn't tell him. And that's my problem. Why doesn't she just tell her in the first place? They go on later, and she's like, oh, this was our plan. We were going to lead our troops away to this Imperial rebel fleet. I was like, well, then why didn't you just tell us, you numbnut? Why didn't you just tell us? There's literally nothing wrong. That's technically your whole job. Anyway. Holdo sucks as a character, I think. Aside from her lightspeed sacrifice, like, she sucks. So Poe is about to start a mutiny because again he doesn't trust her. All while Luke is training Rey in the ways of the Force, and then we get some really cool moments again with Rey and Kylo Ren, where Kylo Ren, I think they have the ability. That's all, folks. And Rey are talking through the Force, and they can see each other, but they're not actually in the same room together. They're from 2 separate rooms. It's almost like a call. Like one person can be here and one person can be there, but you're still talking. The only difference here is that you can actually see them. And so Rey and Kylo talk a lot, and they're almost talking about uniting or letting go of their let the past die, kill it if you have to. It's join me and whatnot. I thought those parts are cool. I like those parts. And then we have the whole Rey falls into the cave of evil. Not the cave of evil. It's kind of like the cave of evil, but not really. where she sees like the whole bunch of clones of herself and they all move. That part, like visually, was amazing. I love that part. And she's like, show me my parents," and it's just her. Another wasted plot line, in my opinion. That whole parentage story, especially with the whole Palpatine thing, but we'll get to that. Her parents, I really think they could have been some people. The whole thing about, my parents are nobodies. They just abandoned me for some reason. They're drunks and all that. I'm like, that's just stupid. That's just bad storytelling. You're building them. Why was, and then the last movie was building them up like they were somebody. So that's not even a good excuse to just have them be nobodies. It's like, why was the last movie building them up like they were going to be somebody, people important, when in fact they weren't? That's just another wasted plot line in this series. But anyway, back with the Resistance. Leia finally wakes up after Poe gets his mutiny going, and he tries to overthrow the ship. She shoots him with this weird like it's kind of like a blue shockwave, and it just knocks him back. That part was kind of funny, and also like, whoa, what? That's like that kind of moment. And then after Luke finds out that Rey is flirting with Kylo Ren, he's like, you know what? I want no part of this. You're turning to the dark side. I don't want you. And then because Kylo at that point told her the true story about how Luke tried to kill him because he was afraid of his power. And Rey, of course, tries to believe it, and he's like, did you actually do it? Did you try to kill Kylo? And Luke's like, oh, he told you that? He's lying to you. But Rey doesn't trust him at first, so Rey doesn't trust him because Luke won't give her the answers that she wants. So she leaves to go to Kylo instead. And then Luke tries to burn down the Jedi Temple, and Yoda shows up as a Force ghost. I was excited to see Yoda. Honestly, I love Yoda. He's like one of my favorite characters from Star Wars. I just like Frank Oz. He's such a great guy, and Yoda as a character, he's like hilarious and also like very deep with all of his thoughts and thinking. So seeing him back, I'm like, cool, Yoda. And then he freaking he like lifts his finger up, he closes his eyes like that, and then the lightning comes down and destroys the temple for Luke. I'm sitting there both confused and like, that's not how Force Ghosts work. How the hell? If they could do that, why the heck couldn't like Obi-Wan could have just force pushed or like did force lightning Darth Vader when Luke fusion by saying he thinks also the Jedi must end, because that's whole Luke's philosophy: the Jedi must end. It's time for the Jedi to end. Which is kind of wasted, because if the Force is literally everyone around us, then there's going to be more Jedi anyway. But anyway, anywho, Yoda tells Luke, you need to keep training her. But then Luke's like, I can't be what she wants me to be. But then Yoda tells her, then like, just like, failure is the greatest teacher. The greatest teacher, failure is. That's such a great quote to live by. And a lot of people really, I think, underestimate, like, failure is the greatest teacher. It really is. I should know. But anyway, so Luke's like, okay. And then back with Rey and Kylo. Rey finally makes it back onto Kylo Ren's ship. And Kylo sees her and is like, all right, well, I got to arrest you and take you to Snoke now. And Rey's, I sense there's good in you. You must turn. Please, just come here. And Kylo's still torn between the two sides. And then they see Snoke in this Playboy Mansion-esque robe, and I'm just like, what am I looking at? Granted, I think the CG on him is a little bit better than in the last one. I mean, he still looks fake as all hell, but he looks a little bit better than the last one, but still, really, with the Playboy Mansion robe? He doesn't look intimidating with that. He just looks weird with that suit on. It doesn't suit him at all. So then, and then Finn and Rose and DJ are planning this break into the bad guy ship, and they're like, "All right, he's gonna hack the shield while we break in," and then he's like, "I'm not gonna betray you," and then the stormtroopers are like, "You're those guys that DJ told us about," and then hits him again, and they get captured. It's really effective. This is what Avengers Infinity War did, and also Endgame. But like, just to be, just to say like, oh, they failed, so expectations subverted. I'm like, no, it was a stupid idea to trust DJ. It was a stupid decision from the get-go, so I kind of knew something was going to go wrong. But that's just me speaking anyway. Just don't take what I say at first value. Anyway, so 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 basically, Rose and Finn are just they're captured. You're the best. Thank you, Chicken Engineer Gaming. This is the first comment I've had in a long time. I love your profile pic also with the Nintendo Switch. That's great. I like you. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Definitely far from over because we need to talk about Rise of Skywalker. But thank you for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Chicken Engineer Gaming, such a great name. But anyway, Finn and Rose have been captured, and Captain Phasma's like, "I'm going to kill you, but I want to make it hurt first." And they bring out this gigantic, like, it's almost like a laser. Looks like one of those like blue laser hair removal thingies in the ship of an axe. Damn, I can't talk. In the ship of an axe to cut their heads off. I subscribed. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. You are awesome. Thank you so much. But anyways, and I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna cut their heads off, then how is it actually gonna hurt them at all? You know, you know what I mean? Is how's that gonna hurt? It doesn't make much sense. But then before they can get executed, Holdo turns the ship around, in the cruiser anyway, while everybody else escapes. Leia and Poe escape on the ships, the transport ships, because they're all getting shot down. And Holdo's just freaking light speeds herself through the First Order. And I will admit, as visual-wise and, scene-wise, that was cool. Like, we haven't really seen that yet. I haven't seen something like that before, and that was really, really cool. And it also just looks amazing. But yeah, it kind of cuts off Captain Phasma and Finn's whole rivalry because Captain Phasma just dies. I mean, they have a short fight in the movie, but he just kind of whacks her, and then she just, falls down the giant shaft. And I'm like, all right, wasted. How that happened. Again, I really think they missed out on Captain Phasma and Finn's rivalry with the movies. But back to the main story. So the First Order is in shambles at this point with the ships, and Snoke is talking to Rey and Kylo in the throne room, being like, "I can sense the dark side in you. You must turn. Look at your friends as they perish in space." And it feels very emperor-y. And I guess he's supposed to be the new emperor in a way. But then Rey still believes that he can be turned because the whole Rey and Kylo thing. But then Snoke's like, I cannot be betrayed. I am all powerful. And then Kylo stabs him with Rey's lightsaber. I will admit, it's cool how he, like, without even touching it, he, like, uses the Force to, like, activate the lightsaber, which impales him like that. That part was cool. But overall, I'm just like, he's already dead? What? Like, I wanted so much more from him. Like, we didn't go into any of his backstory. We don't know why he got there. We don't know how the First Order got started with him. And they didn't even really give him any character aside from just being this evil, ugly-looking mofo. There's just nothing. There's nothing there. So, another wasted character, in my opinion. And again, it kind of really leaves Rise of Skywalker with J.J. Abrams and I think that's really what went wrong with the series, is that it changed directors. Not that I had anything against what's his name? I think Rian Johnson. That's his name. Not that I have anything against Rian Johnson, but the way he ended Last Jedi, it felt more like a conclusion than like a middle chapter. You know what I mean? So when it came time to doing Rise of Skywalker, J.J. Abrams really didn't have a lot to work with. Rian Johnson wrapped up a lot of things with The Last Jedi. So I think it really messed up Rise of Skywalker as a movie when it came time to do that. But that's just me. So after Snoke dies, they have a cool fight sequence with the new Empire. Jesus Christ, that was weird. Okay, they have a fight with the new Imperial Royal Guards. These cool red guys with their red laser swords, and it's really cool. I like the way it's choreographed. But again, the big old baseball bat-like lightsabers are preventing me from fully enjoying it. But it's still a cool scene. And then when the movie, this is what really bums me out. I really wanted in Last Jedi for Kylo Ren and Rey to join sides, to to like actually work together, because that's what the movie was kind of building up. Like they were gonna, kind of form. I don't want to say a friendship, but like kind of like they're getting closer together. They're having a trust relationship. But then they just go back to being enemies again. Kylo just wants all the power for himself, not that Snoke is dead. Which I guess I can understand for a villain, but it's like, all right, I guess you guys are not on the same page anymore. But then, Rey's like, no, I don't want to join you. I am part of the Force. I am with the good guys now. And he's like, no, you're still holding on. Please, just come back to me now. And they're pulling on Luke's lightsaber all like in a cool way, just like tugging. It's like a tug of war, basically, but Force version. And then I kind of forget what happens, but after that, Rey leaves. I think Rey, I want to say Rey goes with the Millennium Falcon. I don't remember. But after that scene, General Hux comes in to see no, I wasn't going to kill you. What are you talking about? And then Kylo Ren chokes him. He's like, let's go destroy the Resistance, because he's getting all mad and salty now. So then he so then they Rey follows with the Resistance back at their old. They go to an old like rebel base on this Hoth-esque planet, and of course the AT-AT walkers. Some more nostalgia for you. AT-AT walkers come in with Kylo Ren leading them, being like, "All right, it's time to take them out." And they pull out this big. They call it a laser battering ram. It kind of looks like a big laser cannon, more like than a battering ram, but it's sci-fi. So what should I do? So then Poe and his fleet have to like try to fight them off with these old school, like they kind of look like pod racers, but sort of like not really. With like the whole the design of it kind of looks like a pod racer. I mean, they do it with these old things, but they don't really work that well, so they're kind of at a disadvantage. But they're still going out anyway. And then after a few of his men die, Poe gets a kind of a little bit of a character development when he turns them around. He's like, "All right, we can't do this anymore. Let's turn around. We're done for. We need to go back." But then Finn tries to sacrifice himself. He wants to sacrifice himself to save them all. And I'm just gonna say it. This scene annoys the F out of me. Because here's the thing: Finn in this movie is pretty much reduced to nothing. He does absolutely nothing in the film. So this was really hold on. Refreshing. Anyway, this was his moment to like evolve as a character, because at the beginning, again, he was a coward and he wanted to run away. He wanted to retreat. He wanted to go the coward's way out and just leave, but he's still around. So this was his moment to like evolve as a character, just to go away from that coward standpoint. But then Rose runs into him, sacrificing herself to save him from sacrificing himself. The level of sacrificial inception is so real right now. And that is why I effing hate Rose. Rose sucks as a character. She is the absolute worst. One, she's annoying. And two, she is the roadblock. She was the roadblock to Finn's character development. He was about to have a sacrificial moment in the film. He was about to have a big character moment, and Rose just said, nah, booshk. And I wanted to punch her so bad after that. And Finn's like, dude, why'd you do that? Why did you do that? And then, who's Rose? Who's Rose? Oh, good question, because I honestly kind of forgot who she was. She was that, like, I don't know if she's Asian, but she was the Asian girl that followed Finn around through the casino in the casino moments. That was Rose. Yeah, from the movie. Mm-hmm. But and then Rose is like, it's not about fighting the things we hate. It's about saving the things we love. And I'm like, all right, fine. It's like their relationship kind of comes out of nowhere. It doesn't feel right. And again, Finn has a lot more connection with Poe as a bromance. So just just do that, please. Just don't go with the Rose story because they don't really have that much chemistry. And then she gives him that kind of a cheesy middle school kiss where they like their lips touch but nothing else touches. So that was weird. And then Finn goes back. He takes what did you think of the redemption of Kylie Ren character? You mean Kylo Ren? Yeah, I get you. It was it's I don't know. It's just kind of. I definitely agree that Kylo Ren it torn between good and evil, so it makes sense that he turned, I guess, to the to the light side towards the end. But it just again, it feels kind of like a copy of Darth Vader, which is like stealing ideas from other movies. And but I don't like the Kylo Rey love story in Episode 9. It just feels random. Anyway, back to Last Jedi. Then Luke shows up as a Force ghost, not a Force ghost. What am I saying? Force projection, I should say. And he has a nice little reunion with Leia, which is a great scene, but also it's kind of sad considering Carrie Fisher was dead at that point. And then Luke walks out, gives C-3PO like a little wink before he goes, and Luke tells Ren, "Look, I messed up. We had some bad times. Let's just forget all that." But then Ren just ignores that and orders all the AT-AT to just fire on him. And then there's a pretty cool moment when he just walks away from it all. And watching, I'm just like, wow, he has survived that. Holy crap, what is he doing? I knew something fishy was up, but I couldn't really put my finger on it when I first watched it. But anyway, so then Ren just it's like, all right, that's it. I'm done. I've had enough of this. I'm gonna kill him myself. Then Hux warns him, dude, this is not part of the plan. And then Raisin's just like, no, let me do it. And so he gets out of the AT-AT and takes out his lightsaber, and they have a sort of lightsaber battle. I don't think it's really a lightsaber battle because none of the lightsabers actually touch. He just kind of dodges through it all. It's like a mini lightsaber battle. It's not like a huge one. But then Luke's like, I messed up, Ren. I'm sorry about this. And then Ren just kind of boasts to him in a villain-esque monologue, like, the Resistance is dead. I have won, and I will have killed the Last Jedi. And then just Luke's like, no, you're wrong. The Resistance is still going, man. And Rey is going to be a new Jedi. So it's your loss, man. And then Kylo Ren, in a fit of rage, charges at him with the lightsaber. And then he just kind of looks at it like, wait, what? And then he tries to just kind of stab him. And then he realizes, you're a Force projection. What? And it cuts to Luke actually on the island, like just hovering, I guess you could say, hovering in a meditation-esque pose as Force projection to say, well, Solo, goodbye. And then Luke teleports out of there, and then Kylo realizes, oh crap, this was a distraction. He looks back, and they're all gone. They're like all escaped. They're like they're all gone. And then they all like have a nice reunion back at the back with the Resistance, and Rey meets up with Poe finally, which honestly they should have met, I think, a little earlier, maybe towards the end of Episode 7, because they're main characters. They should get to know each other a little bit more. And then Rey kind of tells Leia, well, what are we gonna do now? What's gonna happen? And Leia's like, I don't know. We'll think of something. And then it cuts away from them and to this random kid who's being enslaved by this alien dude. And he indicates that he has the Force. Like, there's a lot of people like him that have the Force, and he just uses them to pick up his broom and then sweeps. And that's where the movie ends. Kind of a weird shot to end it on, but I get what it's trying to mean. It's like there's more people that could possess the Force aside from, just the Jedi themselves. But now, let's go on. We go on to the big, the bad, the bougie. Okay. The Rise of Skywalker, the latest installment, but unfortunately not the greatest installment. I definitely say that out of all of the three new Star Wars movies, this had to be the weakest of the three. Like this was like the lowest of them all, which is sad because it's the end of everything. It's the end of I don't want to say everything because obviously there's going to be a lot of Star Wars spinoffs and Mandalorian is doing great, so we're going to get more of that. And it was a pretty weak finale. It wasn't the strongest finale. There was things in it that was good. I watched the movie; it was pretty good. No, yeah, it was good. It's pretty good, but I'm just saying it was not the strongest finale. Like to be honest, I was expecting a lot more out of the final episode 9. It was not as good as the other two. Agreed. And but again, that's just my opinion. So please don't hate on me too much for that. But yeah, I definitely say that episode 9 they could have ended it on a much stronger note than what they actually did in the film. So let's talk about it, shall we? So it opens up with Kylo Ren visiting dead Palpatine, being revived from the dead. And I don't hate I mean okay. And so then hey, no. I didn't come across like you were hating. It's just it's your opinion. So, no hate, no. I didn't get any hate. No offense taken. But anyway, the revived dead Palpatine and Kylo Ren. He was like, "How are you still alive? What's going on here?" And Palpatine's like, "I have this very evil plan. I was behind Snoke and the First Order the whole time, and now you are going to help me build power." And that this is the problem with the movies suck. We don't really know a whole lot about Palpatine as a character. So this was like the moment to show, okay, how did Palpatine create Snoke? How did Palpatine, create the First Order? How did Palpatine, do all this stuff? But they never do. They never explore Palpatine's story at all. And it's really, he just feels like the main bad guy to like just manipulate everybody at this point. He's like the new villain, which is like kind of a good point. Thank you. Glad you like that point. But anyway, to the story. Then we cut to the new Rebel base, which is like on a discount planet Endor, where Rey is training, doing her typical Jedi training, chasing this tiny little droid that's like it like shoots at her, and she like deflects it with a lightsaber, and then she gets a message from Leia saying like, "All right, come over here, we need you." And then Rey goes to Leia, and she's like, "I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. This is a lot of pressure to throw on me. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to become the Jedi I'm meant to be." And Leia's like, "Don't worry, you'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be great." And then Poe and Finn, I think BB-8 too, come back from their mission because they got like information. They got information from this random alien dude about I think something about the First Order. I don't remember what it was, but they get information from him, and they come back to the Resistance base, and Poe's like, "All right, well, yeah, Kylo Ren's after Palpatine. We need to do something about this. we need to stop him. He's got an evil plan coming, and of course, we just gotta prevent it from happening." And this movie, it's kind of weird at this point. It kind of like flashes between a lot of characters. It's like, okay, he exists. Say a line. All right, you said a line. Oh, Rose exists. And people forget you exist. So say a line. Okay, now you say a line. Okay, now Poe say a line. Okay, now Leia say a line. It just feels like everyone's got to talk at least once. So they just kind of alternate between everybody. And that was part was kind of okay. It felt like to me that's just how it felt. And then after that, Leia gets the idea. Well, actually, I don't know if Leia gets the idea, but they get the idea to find the Sith knife. It was like some weird Sith dagger that's gonna like lead them towards Palpatine, where Palpatine is. And they're like, "All right, well, let's follow this thing then. Let's find it." And let's go this thing. And then they go to this weird desert festival. It's kind of like Tatooine, but not really. there's a lot of desert planets in Star Wars. Like, could you just come up with like another? Can you come up with like a Hawaii-esque planet? Can you like stop? Did you like the movie? Again, that's Rise of Skywalker. I'm assuming you mean. I like it fine, but it's just not great. I like it. It's fine. It's a good. It's fine, but it's not great. I just don't think it was the as good of a finale as it could have been. Like, it had the potential to be more, and it didn't. It didn't do more. It did enough, but it just didn't do, like, didn't do. I didn't do it think as good as it could have been. So then they go to the desert festival and they meet Lando Calrissian, and he honestly he just felt wasted in the movie. Where with Han Solo, like, he actually had a stake in the plot. He actually helped out. Not to say that Lando didn't help out, because he calls everyone back in the finale, but Han Solo actually like follows them around. He actually has quite a bit of screen time, which is surprising because I'm like, all right, Han Solo's just gonna be in it for maybe like what 2 seconds, and then I was surprised in Force Awakens when he was around longer. But then it just feels like Lando, he's just there. He's just to acknowledge his existence. Like, fans, hey, I'm Lando. Okay, bye. So then they get chased by stormtroopers who have tracked them down there, and they have this cool chase sequence with the speeder. It's kind of like a speeder, I guess. And they have these cool jetpack troopers, which honestly they're awesome. And they just shoot on them, and they're having a big blaster battle. And then they sink into this weird quicksand thing in the middle of the desert planet, and they run into this weird giant snake thing as they find the knife. And then Rey demonstrates her force powers by by resting her hand on the snake and force healing it, because it's like wounded. That's why it's all getting all agitated and angry. And then after he does that, I don't want to say it's happy, but like it goes away. It leaves them alone, and then they all leave out of the ground, and they go back to the ship. Then Rey kind of leaves to fight off Kylo Ren, because I think he was near. And then Chewbacca follows her for some reason, because they think that he needs to make sure she's safe. And no, why? She's fine. She's a Jedi in training. Just let her do what she wants. She's fine. And then she does that cool backflip from the trailer over Kylo Ren's ship, and like does a cool stab in it, and it like crashes in the sand. That part was cool. Although she was I don't know why she had to stunt first before doing it, but I'm not complaining. It was still a cool moment. And then Chewbacca gets captured. Of course he did. And he gets taken on the First Order ship. And then Rey, honestly, a cool scene. She tries to pull him with Force, power. She tries to pull him with her Force power. Try to pull the ship. And then Kylo Ren's on the other side trying to pull it as well. And then that's such a tight struggle that Rey accidentally force lightnings the ship, and it explodes. Now, when I first watched it, I was like, oh my god, they killed Chewbacca. Like, did they honestly do it? Did they honestly kill Chewbacca? I'm like, Rey's gonna be like the most unlikable character now. And I really thought they were gonna go that route. But then it's revealed out of nowhere that Chewbacca was on a different ship. And I'm like, wait, what? How is he alive? It's like, didn't we just watch him die? I'm like, okay, he was taken to a different ship off screen. What? That's the big problem, I think, with the movie. It kind of jumps all over the place. It feels rushed, but I like Chewbacca. I'm not hating on Chewbacca. I like Chewbacca. I really like him a lot. He's one of my favorites. But I'm just saying, like, I thought she killed Chewbacca. And then the movie, like I said, with the problems with the movie feels rushed. It feels kind of rushed at certain points. Like, it feels slow in all the wrong areas, and it feels kind of rushed in all the wrong areas. The pacing of it is really bad. Where I felt like the first two movies, as bad as they could be, at least it had a consistent, pace. It had a consistent pacing with it. With this movie, it kind of feels like, okay, we gotta go over there. Oh, now this done. We're going over there. Oh, now we're doing this thing. All right. It's like feels kind of, the pacing just feels off. It doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel natural. But anyway, so they go to this because they can't decipher this. C-3PO can decipher it, but he can't, because there's this weird good guy thing in his head. It's like, I can't read this language of the Sith. So they go to this somewhat of a hacker to try to, rewire him so that he can translate it. So they land on this planet with some discount lady Boba Fett, and who is implied that he has a relationship with Poe, but never really explored. And that's another problem. The side characters, they have pretty much no say in anything. They are not that great. It's like, I guess they're fine. They help out, I guess, a little. But, like, I don't remember a thing about any of them. I don't even remember her name, honestly. It's like, she has a cool design, but, like, and character-wise, like, she's just kind of there. And again, it's implied that she and Poe have, like, a, connection, but it doesn't go into it that much, aside from, run away with me. No. And that's it. But meanwhile, anyway, while they're there, this weird little bug-looking alien dude hacks into C-3PO, and he, like, starts speaking the Sith language. This part actually was really cool. In order to do it, to do the rewiring, they have to, C-3PO will have to lose his memories. Like, he won't recall anything. And this part was really cool. It's like C-3PO's big hero moment. And I wanted more scenes like this. Because C-3PO's like, I've enjoyed every moment with you, my friends. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do this for the greater good. I understand what's at stake. And I'm like, yes, that's really good. It's like, it feels like C-3PO's story was actually coming to an end there. And like, he was actually going to, do something really great and really heroic. And I thought that was really good. And so they rewire him, and he says the language, and he's like, all right, we got to go there then. And so they just kind of run off. They get away, and then Kylo Ren and Rey have this lightsaber battle. They have like 3 separate lightsaber battles in this movie. 2 of them are like holograms lightsaber battles, and then another one is just the actual physical one. And that's another problem. It's like the action sequences feel like nothing. At least for the first part of it, it just kind of feels nothing. With all the lightsaber, it's like the first 2 lightsaber battles with Rey and Kylo just feel empty. It's just nothing much is happening aside from them developing their character relationship, which is good. But like the actual action itself is like, all right, it's a lot of nothing. It's kind of like action filler. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like in the first 2 movies, a lot of people were complaining that there was not enough lightsabers. There's not enough lightsaber battles. Or like in Last Jedi in the first place. Like in Star Wars, just in this movie, it just feels like, all right, you want lightsaber battles? We're going to give you 3 lightsaber battles. We're going to give you 3. You can't complain about it. And I'm like, okay, cool, but like, what significance does it have? It just doesn't have, and it doesn't have any significance to it. But anyway, that's a side note. So they fly away, understanding the deciphered message, and they're going to this planet where I think the remaining piece of the Death Star is. Oh no, they go to save Chewbacca. I forget. Before they do that, they do that, but they go to save Chewbacca. It's been a while since I've watched the movie, so please forgive me. So they go on there. And while they're there, it's because there's this whole thing in the movie that there's a secret rebel spy, and it's revealed that Hux is the rebel spy. And I'm just, okay, that it feels like kind of like a wasted. It doesn't feel like a very impactful reveal. It's like, okay, I guess it's like he's a good guy, I guess. All right, cool. But it just didn't really like wow me. It didn't really like shock me. All right. Hey, what's up, sheep guy? Glad you can finally join the stream when we're already in Rise of Skywalker. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. A lot of you guys can watch this in the future and see all the mischief that happened earlier. But anyway, back to Rise of Skywalker. So they have another lightsaber battle. They have their second lightsaber battle, and then Kylo Ren's like, I know where you are. And then Grey's like, oh, shoot. And then they go to the throne room, and then everything happens. And then chaos ensues. They have to escape. But then Rey and Kylo, they go to another big problem with the movie. Kylo is like telling her, the parents didn't tell you what happened. Your grandfather is somebody evil. And I'm like, okay, this is a new avenue. I mean, it's still kind of the father-daughter-son reveal, but I don't know. Who's it going to be? And then he says, your grandfather is Palpatine. And I'm sorry, what? The movie lost me right there. It lost me with all of the credibility that it had. Because how in the hell does Palpatine, how the hell is Palpatine the grandfather of Rey? Like, and on top of that, this twist had no build-up. This twist had no build-up. Like with The Empire Strikes Back, this is what differentiates a good twist from a bad twist. In a good twist, like Empire Strikes Back with Darth Vader and Luke, there was actual development. There was the Cave of Evil on Dagobah scene. There was the Anakin Skywalker is killed. There was the Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. There was build-up to Darth Vader being Luke's father. Where it's like, it's shocking, but like you can see like how he's his father, like what build up to that. With here, it comes kind of out of nowhere. There's no real, aside from her, I guess, fascination with the dark side, there's really no indication that she could have been the granddaughter of Palpatine. So that twist really bugs the heck out of me. And also, it's weird thinking of Palpatine actually having, done the business with somebody. But that's just me. I digress. I think a few people think the same way, but I still I think that a lot about this twist. But so after that, they fly off, they escape from the ship, and they're gonna go towards the planet with the missing piece of the Death Star. I have no idea what the planet's called, and I do not think it actually has a name. Where we run into pointless side character number 2, the African American chick. I'm not trying to be racist or anything, but I honestly have no idea what her name is. All I know is that she's like the big poofy hair with the space horses, and she's African American. I swear, I do not remember her name to save my life. But then she kind of has a romance relationship, sort of, with Finn. And I'm like, okay, I guess Finn has nothing else to do but this now. This is what Finn's used to. I remember when Finn was going to be a cool defect stormtrooper character, and now he's just reduced to this. Are you kidding me right now? It's painful to watch Finn's digression up to this moment. But anyway, so then Rey, they're trying to get to the I'm sorry, it's been a long time since I've seen the movie. They go into the Mississippi, the Death Star, the Death Star destruction thing, and Rey goes onto it, and again, Kylo Ren is there to destroy Rey, because Palpatine's like, you must destroy her. And all while the other people are trying to figure out how to get there just on their own. And then we get the trailer shot of Rey with a red lightsaber. Way to bait us with the trailers, Disney, you sick pieces of crap. you marketing bastards. I knew that wasn't real. That was commercial, but come on, really? It's I hate when trailers do that. I hate when they bait you with images like that, only to have it be I don't know, a projection or a last second tease in the movie. And all right, well that's pointless. Way to bait us in on that. So then after she has that fight with her dark version of herself, with no suspense at all, Kylo Ren still tells her to join her, but she's still saying no, so they go up and they have a stunningly cool fight scene, I guess, with the water around them. Again, this should have really been the main climax of the movie instead of the Palpatine thing. But I digress. So Kylo Ren and Rey, they have their fight, and then I want to say Rey stabs him at one point, but then Leia, I think, honestly, I don't even know if this is correct, but Leia gives up her own Force life, her last of her Force energy, and she just dies to save Kylo Ren. I get it because Carrie Fisher's dead, but it just feels really awkward, and it's really and again, somebody else has to say it for her, and it's so cringy. Again, it's just Carrie Fisher's death made that whole situation a lot messier. And again, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. All respect to you, but it's just the death scene was very poorly rushed. She saved her son, which is great. Aside from that, the actual scene itself was not handled well. I don't think. But anyway, so then Kylo Ren has a nice scene with Han Solo's ghost, and Han Solo's like, son, I know what happened, but you can like still fix this and make it all right. And then Kylo Ren's like actually has a son moment. He moves away from Kylo Ren, as far as I'm concerned, in this moment, from Kylo Ren to Ben Solo, to the actual Ben Solo that he was supposed to be. And that is the only great emotional scene in the entire film. I actually like that moment. That was cool. And I'm glad that Harrison Ford was actually willing to just do that one sequence as Han Solo, even though he was pretty much done with it at that point. So then, obviously, we know Kylo Ren's going to turn to the good side, but then the good guys are like, okay, so we know where they are. So what happens now? Like, what do we do? What do we do now? And how are we supposed to stop them? They have like a whole like army of like Star Destroyers, which is a cool image, I must say. If Palpatine's going to destroy us, how are we going to get him? And then Poe basically just tells him, all right, well, somebody will come. People will join us. We'll hear the cause. I appreciate what they're going for with the whole everyone's joining in to like save the galaxy, but it's like all the planning that went into traditional Star Wars movies before these big battles happened. It just feels kind of lost here with this moment. Just okay, no build up, no like planning at all. It's just all right. We'll go in, we'll charge, and if anybody shows, hopefully some people show up to help us out. That's just what it feels like to me in that scene. Again, this movie was kind of all over the place, but with it, at least to me, it was all over the place. But okay, and then we head towards the final battle and the final space battle, anyway. And then Rey heads down on the ship to go fight Palpatine. And then while all the good guys are like doing the typical Star Wars space battles, Palpatine's like, you must turn to the dark side. You must take the place of me as the new emperor. And I'm just like, wait, but if you wanted Kylo Ren to kill her, why didn't you just like? If you're gonna turn her, why didn't you just? And I've been watching this whole entire time. Chicken Engineer Gaming, thank you. You are awesome. I'm so glad that you are actually going to be able to willing to stay here the entire time to watch this. This is great. But again, you don't have to. I'm not like forcing you. But like, thank you so much for actually sticking around. You are incredibly amazing. And I'm not being sarcastic or like joking when I'm saying that. So, but anyway, so again, it's just weird. Palpatine like he wanted Kylo to kill her, but then when Rey comes to him, he's like, "Join me," or like, "Take my place as the Emperor." It's just it's odd to me. And then Rey, of course, she's gonna deny it, but they have this whole ritual. There's these weird, like black cloaked figures in this giant, room with all these chairs, and like, when did they get here? And why are they like all like, ooh, real creepy? And then because Palpatine's about to do the induction, and then Kylo Ren shows up, and he's trying to fight off the Knights of Ren at one point because he's trying to save Rey from total annihilation. And speaking of saving from total annihilation, Lando comes in with the rest of the galaxy, or supposedly the rest of the galaxy, behind him, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna help you. We're gonna help you out with the space battle." And so it becomes more even up there. And then Kylo Ren is about to get his butt kicked by the Knights of Ren. Oh yeah, and remember the Knights of Ren? Wasted characters, man. And Kylo Ren is about to get his butt kicked, but then Rey senses there and like hands him lightsaber protection, which is cool. I like that moment. And then he just, and we even have like a little bit of Han Solo moment because he is a Ben Solo where he's like, I think he winks at him or like does a little gesture towards, like a cocky gesture, like a little, like what Han Solo would do, which is like, I like that. It's like, this is Ben Solo. This is not Kylo Ren anymore. This is Ben Solo. So I like that part. So then Rey comes in, and Palpatine's like, well, if you won't join me, then you will be destroyed. And then he does his Force Lightning, thingy, because he does it and all that stuff to Rey. But then eventually Kylo Ren shows up, and he like helps her out. He helps him up. And then Rey helps Kylo fight off the Knights of Ren, and they kill him off. Then they turn their attention towards Palpatine, But then Palpatine just straight up sucks out their life force, and with his own bare fingers. And then I think he used that energy to like revitalize himself, so that he's not like a walking zombie at that point. Which I get, but it's like, okay, you're all powerful now. This is weird. I mean, I know he's the Lord of the Sith, but again, random force powers out of nowhere, kind of like Leia just force vacuuming herself to the ship in Last Jedi. But I guess, for the convenience of the story, they just do that stuff. And so then Emperor Palpatine, with that energy, just freaking shoots lightning into the sky to just destroy the ships, the good guy ships, all around him. Which is like, all right, now he's super OP. He's like the most powerful person in the galaxy at this point. So then Rey, she's on the floor. She's like unconscious, and then she hears the voices of all the past Jedi before her saying, "You can do it, Rey. You can do it." Because I'm pretty sure we hear Obi-Wan's voice, we hear Yoda's voice, we hear Anakin's voice, we hear Luke's voice, we hear what was that other one? We hear Mace Windu. We hear the past Jedi, which is cool. I like that idea of like all the Jedi helping her out. But you know what would have been cooler if we actually saw their Force ghosts, like actually being like, "You can do it, you can do it," instead of just hearing their voices. I understand why they hear the voices because not all of them obviously could show up, but I'm saying like if their Force ghosts were at least behind her or like standing in front of her, being like, "You can do it, you can do it. We believe in you. The Force is always with you." That part would have been cool. It would have been like a nice ending. But I mean, it's still a like cool idea and an ending, but like it would have been added a little bit more cooler. So then Rey finally finds the strength to get up, and she takes the lightsabers, and Palpatine like force lightnings her, and he's like, "Oh, it's like I am like I forget what he says, but like she's all like, I am all the Jedi," and then she just and she just kills her. Is anyone else thinking when she was saying that line, "I am Iron Man," like the Thanos scene? I don't know. It's like in my mind, I was just thinking that. Like, what's with the I ams recently? But anyway, that pretty much takes all the life force away from Rey, or at least makes her unconscious. Then Kylo Ren has a self-sacrificial moment again with the redemption thing, and gives her his life force to save her, which I could appreciate because again, it's like the sacrificial thing. But again, Darth Vader ripoff. So not a huge fan of that, but I can see what they're going for with the whole Kylo Ren turning to the good side after being torn, apart. Then Rey, she's like, "Oh my God, he had feelings for me. I didn't even get to know him." And then she kisses him, and I'm just like, okay, that happened. And they don't feel like they had a romance at all. Like they were friends, I guess for sure, but like romance, no, I didn't believe they had a romance at all. That's just me. It just kind of felt out of nowhere at that point. And then Rey, they all have a nice reunion at the Resistance, and they're like, "Yay, we won! The galaxy is saved!" But we will not forget the lives we lost along the way. Can we have a moment of silence for our fallen comrades? But anyway, so then Rey goes to, I forget what planet it is, but she buries the lightsaber of Luke or Leia under the sand, and she whips out this new cool orange lightsaber. And then lady next to him is like, "No one's been there for years. What's your name?" And I really wanted her to say Rey Palpatine. You want to know why? Because all throughout the movie, it's been even Luke says it's implied that bloodlines don't matter. Like bloodlines don't matter anymore. Because Rey's all upset about being a Palpatine, but then Luke's saying that, well, the relationships don't matter. It doesn't matter that you're a Palpatine. What matters is what you do. So I think if she said Palpatine, it would have been used in a good way instead of a bad way, because bloodlines don't matter. It would have made sense, and it would have been cool because Palpatine is now associated with the savior of the galaxy. But then she says Rey Skywalker. I'm like, no, don't do that. I'm sounding like Mickey Mouse now. Don't do that. Why? You missed out on a perfectly good moment. It was literally set up for you. The steps were in place to do it, so you didn't take advantage of it. Just for me, they missed out on a moment to like really drive home that bloodlines don't matter. Like if bloodlines don't matter, then show it to me. Just be a Palpatine and accept it, because now you're a hero of the galaxy, and that name will be associated with someone as good as you. But that's just my opinion on that. And then it ends with Rey standing there, being the heroine that she is, looking at a new freed galaxy. And with that, the new Star Wars trilogy comes to an end. So overall, I'm just gonna like do a quick sum up. Oh yeah, and I forgot to rate Last Jedi. Last Jedi, I would give a Xbox 360, like a 3 out of 5. Um, Force Awakens again is a PS4 because it's a really good movie. It's like the best out of the three. And this one, I don't want to give it. I'll give it like a 2.5. Like I'd give it like a Power Glove and a half. A Power Glove and half of an Xbox 360, if that makes sense. Like a 2.5 out of 5. Like I liked the movie fine, but like I didn't really like it as a finale. Like I really feel like they could have done so much more with it than what they actually did. But it's just my opinion again. Don't get too mad on me. Everyone's entitled to have their own opinion, but this is just my review and my honest thoughts. And with that, this video comes to a close. I hope you, for those of you who watched anyway live, I hope you enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, this was actually really cool. I've wanted to do this for a while. I've wanted to share my thoughts on the new Star Wars trilogy because I like it. I like it fine. But again, that finale was a little meh. But like the first two were really great. I liked them a lot. It's just my opinion. I liked it. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it, Chicken Engineer Gaming. Again, this is just my opinion. I'm glad you can enjoy something that I can't enjoy as much as you can. It's great. It's fine. That's the joy of opinion. That's the glory of opinions. Everyone wants to share their thoughts with the world. That's great with me. But anyway, I really don't know if I'm gonna be coming back to this channel again. It'll depend because again, I have a lot on my agenda going as of late with college and well, not college yet, but obviously high school and whatnot. So we'll see. But I'm glad. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. And again, you want to watch this in the future, you can see all my full thoughts there because this is about to be a video very soon. But until next time, guys, stay cool. Man, I haven't done an outro in a while. Stay cool, and I will see you guys God knows when. I might do another live stream like later on, but yeah, who knows? I don't know if I've done this channel yet or not, but again, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Bye. You're cool. Thank you, Chicken Engineer Gaming. Thank you so much. You're great. All right, guys. So long. This was great. This was fun. It's good. It's great to come back to the channel and like record a live stream again because it has been a while and I missed doing this. Yep. Bye, shoot guy. So long, y'all.